morning, everybody. The time is, get the official time, 9:05 a.m. It is Monday, December 12th, 2022 at 9 a.m. I'm calling this regular term meeting, the final of fiscal year 2022 of the B County Commissioners Court to order. We are physically located at B County Courthouse, Commissioners Courtroom, number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas, 78102. That was the call to order. Moving on to agenda item number 2, the prayer. Please join me in standing as we have Commissioner Farias.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for all the blessings. We thank you for this season of Advent. We also ask you to watch over us and bless us in this court for all the work that we do here to serve our constituents the best we can. Please keep us safe during the holidays and everyone during their travels. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Farias. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the Texas Pledge.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
It's almost flawless. New Year, next year.
Happy Christmas tree lady, I was waiting to get this. We didn't say it.
Yeah, I didn't want to steal their thunder. Good morning, everybody. We're at agenda item number 4, which is where we recognize visitors. This is not public comment. This is recognition of visitors, and the recognition can be general and say something to the effect of, welcome, thank you all for coming. Please come back anytime you have any interest in what it is that we do or you want to see. You are always welcome. But there's also an opportunity if anybody that doesn't want to speak at public comment but would like to identify who they are and recognize themselves for us on Commissioners Court and also for our record, this is the opportunity for you to do so. If there's anybody that'd like to identify themselves now, please do so.
Go ahead.
You're in front of me, go.
Stand up too quick. My name is Jack McCune. Although the card's there, you see it as Aberdeen Land and Acquisitions. That's my company. My company that I work for now is Insight in Houston. Our client is Kinder Morgan, and I am pretty much in charge of all the land and everything that's going on with survey, environmental, and such as that, along with permitting and so on and so forth. I've been in the business for 26 years, so I cover a lot of ground.
Welcome.
Please feel free to call me if you need anything.
Yes, sir, Mr. McKean. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Your Honor. Commissioners, I'm here from Mineral. I'm Frank Massey, and I'm here in support of item number 12 on today's agenda. We're very appreciative of the commissioners and the judge for taking action to support us in our efforts to keep our mineral post office open. Brought with me a couple of my neighbors, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Thank you all for being here this morning. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 5, Commissioners Court opening remarks. Part of me wants to defer to Commissioner Haggard, but I think we'll start, whether we're supposed to or not, with Commissioner Lenny, and we'll finish with Commissioner Haggard. Commissioner Lenny, you have the floor.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to apologize. I wasn't able to make the last 2 Commissioners Courts for various reasons. Thanks to Commissioner DeWitt for doing my public comments.
Yes, sir.
At the last meeting. You did a pretty good job.
Thank you.
You
can pay me later.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. Not a whole lot's been going on. Making the rounds around the precinct, looking at roads and whatnot, reporting to Ray, whether it's a potholes or it's shoulder work needs to be done. You guys got a bunch of stuff done out in Blueberry Hill, Ray, and thank you and all the constituents. They let me know. So brush pickup out there, thank you. Got with TxDOT on the San Pedro Cemetery sign off of 796, and they are, thank you, Judge.
Awesome.
And because it's a state roadway that TxDOT has to do that, the sign out there is pretty cruddy, so they're going to make a nice big sign out there to designate where the cemetery is. What else? Gosh, dog. Yeah, that's really about it. There wasn't a lot going on.
That's okay.
Did the courthouse lighting ceremony deal? That was pretty cool. And then also attended the Veterans ceremony for the on the hangar out at Chase Field. And I'd say that about covered it.
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Commissioner DeWitt.
Thank you, Judge. Yes, first thing I'd like to do, I always like to praise people in public. That's one thing I learned when I was in Parks and Wildlife. We had some training in Austin. And that person is our Chief Deputy, Ronnie Jones. Now, Ronnie Jones works behind the scenes on a lot of different things, and he does a great job of getting grants and getting money and vehicles and radios, and I just could go on and on and on. But what Mr. Jones, what Chief Deputy Jones has done lately, he was very, very wise. When he's looking for an item, he looks at multiple grants, hoping that a rock will hit one of them. Well, his rock hit two of them. And what he's done, he's pulled back from the grant from the county, from the American Rescue Plan money, in the amount of $73,000 that'll go back into the account, and found the money in another place for, I believe it was for vehicles, radios. So, special recognition for you this morning, sir. That $73,000 that could go back into the fund to help a place like Pettus or Pawnee or something with their infrastructure. So, thank you. We appreciate what you do. Another thing that's on the radar in Precinct 2 is Mr. Massey said, is our mineral post office. We thought we had it worked out, and there's been in college we call it a knotty problem that we're working on now. We have the representative and our federal congressman involved, and we're going to try to meet with him this week and see what we can work out. That post office has been there probably 100 and some odd years, and for those of you that aren't familiar with it, it's a small rural area, retirees, basically farmers, ranchers, retired educators, if you will. A lot of teachers live up there, retired teachers, and they rely on that post office. It's a 20-mile round trip from Mineral to Beeville to get their mail if they were to have to do that. That doesn't sound like very far unless you're older and maybe you're on a fixed income, you need to pay for gasoline and one thing and another. And we're working hard to try to keep it. This same thing came up several years ago. I know Commissioner Hager and I were involved with Skidmore, Tynan, Pettus, Pawnee, the whole bunch of them, they tried to close them. This one's a little different situation, but we're very optimistic that we're going to be able to. We're going to throw every rock we have in our bucket at it to try to keep it. Right now, it's in the Baptist church. The Baptist church provides the building, the utilities, the maintenance, the whole 9 yards. So it doesn't cost the post office people anything to have it up there except the staff. So we're working hard on that, and I think we're going to try to meet with Congressman Zay this week in Mineral and see if we can hammer some things out. So I appreciate the folks from Mineral coming, and just know that we're behind what we're trying to do here. Something else we have going, we have a county road in North Peak County that our road and bridge crew worked diligently on. We had an oil company that helped us out financially. We got it in good shape, not knowing some frac trucks were going to come down it. They've kind of, it's in probably worse shape than it was before we started now. I know we're going back with it, and that's where Mr. Gonzalez is in the back, and we have a gentleman here from Kinder Morgan Pipeline that would like to visit with you. This gentleman right here in the light green shirt. He said that he might have some suggestions for you, and they want to be good neighbors, and they're going to be bringing a pipeline down that same general area. So y'all might be able to get together before it's over with and see if we can work out. And Judge, I'm going to keep my other comments very short. May have something later, may come back with it. Right now, that's it, sir.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt.
You okay?
I'm okay. Wow. You're going to back clean up right once we're all done.
Yeah, I'm gonna back clean up.
I'll
I'm
do
gonna
another
come-
10 minutes.
Whatever you do, don't circle back.
Don't say away. No, this past week I attended a board meeting in Austin for the TCDRS retirement system, and I spent a couple of days there, and then waiting. I got an email that Grace brought me for the. Please note that this project pending final FEMA review for the Blanconia Fire Department.
Wow. How many years now?
Since probably what, 5 years?
Yeah, going on 6.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
going on 6.
Good.
Good job.
They move slow, but
No, they're on the fast track there.
they slow, huh?
That's the fast track.
Maybe those people up there in Blanconia won't have to park all the fire trucks in their front
In their
yard,
yard.
things like that. So, no, we got that, and we have a BDA meeting this evening to review the final packets for the lift station. So we'll be doing that this evening, and that's moving forward. Wofford Lane, Mr. Ray, we had had lots of calls, good calls, saying that they didn't know that road was that big until you cut all the limbs and cleaned all that road up. It's nice now. Your guys did a great job over there. And then, Chief Jones called me and said they're moving equipment in for the SO already. So they're moving it in place. They're at a month ahead of time. So hopefully, next month they'll kick off and put that stuff on the roof, all the air conditions.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I will too, Judge. I'm just,
Fingers crossed.
they did move some equipment, yes?
They're moving this morning. I'll take pictures.
Excellent. That's
All right, okay, so that's moving forward. That's my report for the last couple of weeks. I'll pass it to Commissioner Haggard.
Oh, well, again, not a whole lot when you're in your last days. Not a whole lot goes on. The phone kind of gets quiet. I'm sure that, Tino's phone, Commissioner Oliveris is gonna start getting busy. I'm planning a meeting this week with him to kind of transfer everything over where we're at, what we're doing. Again, I wanna thank the public, for allowing me to be here for 12 years, and the committees that I was appointed to and taken care of. I wanna thank the judge for taking over, the BAP. I think that was an instrumental, department that we created. That was a really nice organization. I did attend the roundtable with J.M. Lozano with the Commissioners Court. We had a meeting over there, very productive over there. I actually have a meeting with him next week on some other items totally off of that. So to finish up everything. Again, all I can say is I appreciate all the work that Mr. Gonzalez has done to keep my phone to a minimum. The mowers and the brush and everything else. But it's kind of bittersweet. I've accomplished a lot that I think in 12 years, and I'm hoping that Commissioner Oliveris can continue on and get some of the, I'm sure he has a lot of projects on his agenda, and I'm here to help, whatever. But again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Haggard. I speak on behalf of the entire county and with specificity to Precinct 4 in thanking you for your 12 years of service. And also, again, want to commend you, I know I did it last meeting, but for remaining engaged. You know, it's been a long period of time since the primaries. You've continued to advocate on behalf of your constituents. You've remained engaged with this commissioner's court. You executed your duties and obligations without regard to the unfortunate for you reality that that you were defeated in the primaries. And I've been on a lot of public boards in B County in the 13 years that I've been here, and I've seen many individuals lose elections, and the far more common result is once somebody loses an election, they stop showing up, they are no longer engaged because they're, I guess I can presume, since they're not there to explain it, I would presume that their personal frustration or sense of loss or hurt or embarrassment is greater than their community minded interests, and that is not the case for you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done. So moving on, that was a little serious, and it meant supposed to be positive. So I'm going to speak for a long time. Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt, for giving me your time.
Not a problem.
I'll lighten it up. The Christmas tree lighting event was wonderful. Thank you to everybody in the community that pitched in. Thank you to our departments, the accounting department, my office, county clerk's office, maintenance, of course, for all the work that y'all put in decorating both the courthouse and the courthouse grounds and putting on a wonderful event. Thank you, Commissioner Lenny, for serving as the MC for that event. I thought you did an excellent job, and it was fun to be able to be out in the crowd. My wife and two boys were able to come into town and enjoy a little bit of some of the fun things that I get to do being in this position. So I really appreciate you giving me that flexibility, and I think you did a pretty good job as well. I'm just kidding. I think you did a really good job. I'd also like to remind all of our county employees, we have our upcoming employee luncheon, I believe, this Thursday. Is that right? Hopefully everybody can attend. We should have food. And you'll get to hear me talk. I've got about a half-hour presentation right now. It's really good. It's sort of a song and dance routine. I kind of cut it. It's gonna be interesting. So please come. What else? The last few weeks have been pretty busy. I made a comment, and I'll say this in all sincerity. I've had 2 or 3 meetings with the Coastal Bend Council of Governments in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We had our annual meeting of the Texas Workforce Commission. Our board members, B County's board members, were present. That was wonderful. They're very engaged. I was there as well as part of the CEO Council, and it was a great event. There's a lot of good things that are going on, not only in our county and our region. One other special event that I went to, Judge Rudy Madrid in Clayburgh County put together a informal get-together of existing and new or incoming county judges. I think in the state of Texas, there's something like over half of our county judges this year are turning over, and we're getting new county judges. So statewide, it's going to be quite interesting and exciting for county governments across the great state of Texas. And so it's been a really forward-thinking move of Judge Madrid to grab a bunch of the county judges that are incoming from his region, but also inclusive of us. We had incoming Aransas County Judge Ray Garcia, incoming Nueces County Judge Connie Scott, incoming Jim Wells County Judge Pete Trevino. We had existing County Judge Burns from Kennedy County. Now that I've said so many, I can't not say anymore. We had incoming Live Oak County Judge James Liska. We had, no, Judge Huff wasn't there. Judge Teal there. I don't think Judge Teal could make it. Anyway, we had a really good slate. And one of the things that I noticed when I was listening to the judges go around the table and introduce themselves, say who they are and what they're interested in doing for their county, what current projects are working on, and or what current projects or future projects they hope to work on. I realized this, and I know my commissioners probably recognize this better than I do, because in many respects they do a better job than I do of looking outside the boundaries of our county. And so it's really interesting to get out as a county judge, to get out into the region and hear what other county judges are doing, recognizing and realizing that the struggles that B County faces are similar to the county's struggles that surround us. And so hopefully in the coming year, we'll continue to be able to engage more in those activities. New county judge, incoming county judge of Refugio County, Gigi Pointer was also there. And so I'm looking forward to this new year, looking forward to the opportunity. Coastal Bend County Council of Governments has $153 million that is coming from the state to help with Harvey, and B County is getting $4.6 million. Is that right? I think we announced it last time. The city's also getting about I think it's about $4 million. So over the course of the last 3 years, basically since I was honored to be appointed to this position, we've received many windfalls, and it's our hope, and I know I speak on behalf of all the commissioners here today, it's our hope that our efforts are fruitful, that our expenditures are wise and meaningful, and that at the end of the day, we'll end up with value added for the funding that we've received. Lord knows the county has suffered as a component of becoming, as a component of obtaining those windfalls. So those windfalls were not without great cost, whether it be Harvey or COVID or other issues that we've had to face over the course of the last 3 years. But hopefully there's good things on the horizon. We'll get the jail finished pretty quickly. new emergency management building is gonna be interesting. And keep coming to us if there's any members of the community who see something that they think could be improved upon, something that they're particularly passionate or interested in. Please don't hesitate to reach out to your commissioners, reach out to my office, and let us know. We're stronger when more of us engage and become a part of county government. I think I've talked myself. I think I've talked the commissioners into it.
I've got one other item, sir.
I knew,
No, I will,
I knew he was gonna.
I will, what is it? Turn my time, what is it? Cede my time, remainder of my
I won't
time,
take too
Commissioner
much.
DeWitt. I may have a follow-up after you.
There you go. One thing that I forgot that, our road and bridge administrator, Mr. Gonzalez, and I met with a contingent from Goliad County. It's good to see counties interact with each other. Judge Bennett and Commissioner Brumley were here. They came over, wanted to review our unit road system. They're thinking about going with a unit road system in Goliad County. And, they were pretty impressed. They have a new commissioner's court over there, and the ideas are changing on exactly how to do this or how to do that. And, some interesting, things came out during that conversation about where they're storing their equipment and where they're not storing their equipment and the condition that some of it's in. But, just wanted to let everybody know that, counties interact with each other. We deal, I know the judge deals directly with the other county judges, the commissioners deal with the commissioners, so all the counties are interconnected, and we share information with each other, and we try to help each other in the way we can. So, Judge, with that, I really will let go.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other commissioners want anything more? No, you're ready? Okay, we've said our piece. Moving on, agenda item number 6, public comment. Are there any members of the public who would wish to address, Commissioner's Court at this time? Okay, moving on. Agenda item number 7, the following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioner's Court has been furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve the comment.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
I did notice that the tax bill investment percentage has gone up to 2.9336, so that's a good thing.
Great thing.
I know inflation's bad, but, we do like to get a little more interest on our money that we have in deposits, so that's good.
And our Simmons also, 3.2.
3.2, good. That's it, sir.
For any adults that were, investing back in the 70s and 80s, it's surprising, isn't it, that we would be so excited about that 2%?
Yeah, because it was.
It is very
great.
exciting.
It was 15%.
It was double digits.
Yeah.
It was.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve resolution endorsing passage of legislation for a multi-county court at law of B, Live Oak, and McMullen counties in Texas, and requesting legislative assistance to have an act relating to the creation of a multi-county court at law of B, Live Oak, and McMullen counties to be passed by the 88th legislature of the state of Texas. This is my agenda item. I will open the floor to questions in just a minute, but and I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible because I do know that we have a long agenda. So the long and short of it is, in Texas, you have constitutional county judges. I'm a constitutional county judge. That is the position that I fill. There are 254 of us in the state of Texas, and we serve a dual role. The vast majority of the time that we, well, not really, but the vast majority of the time that we ultimately end up spending is in our administrative role as the administrative head of the county. But we also do serve a judicial function. That judicial function for small rural counties tends to be covering all misdemeanor cases. That's Class B and Class A misdemeanors, probates that are uncontested, largely uncontested, and civil cases with concurrent jurisdiction that the justices of the peace have. So now the concurrent jurisdiction is up to $20,000 amount of controversy. In Texas, we also have district courts. A district judge and the district court is the court of general jurisdiction in the state of Texas. They have unlimited jurisdiction over the amount in controversy in civil cases, so anything from $300 to $300 million or $300 billion can come before a district judge in the state of Texas. They also handle all criminal felonies, contested probate proceedings in counties where there are no statutory probate judges, and family law cases, CPS, and in B County, we are part of a 5-county district. So Aransas County, San Patricio County, Live Oak B, and McMullen County form a judicial district for our district judges. So we have 3 judicial districts that cover 5 counties, the 36, 156, and 343rd. We have 3 district judges, Judge Starbauer, who's from B County, Judge Patrick Flanagan, who's from San Patricio County, and Judge Jana Watley, who's from San Patricio County. They're great judges. We're very fortunate to have them. It's a difficult situation for them. It's not quite the cush job that it might be in a larger city where they only have one location to go to every day, one office where attorneys can find them and bug them and bother them, and one bench that they get on. In our county, or for our district judges, they ride a 5-county circuit. So every day of the week, pretty much, they're in a separate county. They're physically driving to B County to handle B County matters. Then they drive to Live Oak County to handle Live Oak County matters. And they do this year-round, constantly. The result is that although there is some sharing of duties amongst the district judges, for many cases, especially when it comes to civil cases, there is sort of the word I'm looking for is I can't think of it, I'm thinking competency, but that's not it. But sort of a learned knowledge that each judge has over particular civil cases. Civil cases can drag on, and they do drag on in Texas, regardless of if it's B County or Harris County, for several years. And so they tend to hold those on their own. Difficult felony cases, they tend to hold on to those on their own because those cases take so long and it requires such a good bit of knowledge from the beginning to the end that it's hard for them to pass off from one court hearing to the next. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I'm struggling a little bit there. So a couple of years ago, Judge Flanagan approached me and mentioned this concept of a multi-county court at law. A court at law is a statutory court. I'm a constitutional judge, so my jurisdiction and my authority is vested in the Texas Constitution. A statutory judge, their authority is vested in the state statutes. So the state legislatures create county courts at law. You can have a statutory probate court, you can have individual civil county courts at law. You can create, the state legislature can create a specialized court for whatever unique purpose it is that a particular county has that they've presented legislation for. There's one other multi-county court at law in the state of Texas. It's been in existence for several years. It seems to be working good. And that's what gave Judge Flanagan the idea to approach me about us possibly looking to create a multi-county court at law. In our particular instance, the multi-county court at law would cover Live Oak, McMullen, and B County. There are some practical issues that Live Oak County and McMullen County commissioners and the judges for those respective counties are going to have to work through and make a decision on their own to see, does this make sense for their county to support this. In general, I think we're all, as the judges, I think we're all supportive of the concept. Not so much as it can provide relief for us and from our daily affairs, but for the relief that it can provide to our district judges. By having a county court at law in Live Oak and McMullen County, you can have civil jurisdiction up to, in statute, it's $300,000 or $350,000. So we can take out some of the civil cases that bog down the district judges' dockets. We can also take family law cases, which for the vast majority, and those of y'all that aren't lawyers in the audience, when it comes to our counties here in South Texas, the vast majority of the cases are either felonies, family law, or CPS cases. It's not a lot of positivity inside the court. But those family law cases and small civil cases and even some felony cases that the county court at law could be a relief valve for our districts on, it also adds value to our constituents. And it adds value to our constituents in that if we had a county court at law present, they could have hearings more frequently than our district judges are physically able to. So as a practicing lawyer, when I have a civil case, it's in front of one of the judges, let's say, you know, it's in front of Judge Bauer in Aransas County. If I want to get an emergency hearing, I have to figure out when Judge Bauer is going to be in Aransas County, or I have to make sure that it is truly, really incredibly, truly an emergency to even try to get her to vary from whatever obligation she has in the other county that she's in. The practical result is that you may file a motion that you think is an emergency or that your clients think is an emergency, and it may not be. You may not be able to have that hearing for a month or a month and a half or 2 months. So judicial efficiency is one of those things that we're going for. The other unique component of this opportunity is that currently the state of Texas does subsidize about 60% of a county court at law judge salary. The county court at law judge's salary is set by state statute, and there's a range, but it can be no greater than $1,000 less than the district judges, and then there's a bottom range. So it's not an insubstantial amount of money, but it is something that's subsidized by the state of Texas. If we get this approved, if we get traction at the state legislature, then our next step would be to begin engaging with the state entities that would potentially be able to subsidize that role 100%. That would be the goal. We're dealing with 3 small counties with relatively tight budgets. In order to create this office, we would have to not only have a judge, but we'd have to have a court coordinator and a court reporter. Court reporters, unfortunately, are few and far between. If you have a child that is looking for a career, not happy where they are, starting salary for a court reporter with no experience in San Patricio County is over $100,000. It's a hard job to create that proficiency to be able to serve as a court reporter. But once that proficiency is done, it's like, I would presume, I can't do it, but I presume it's like riding a bike or playing guitar. When you reach that level of proficiency, you really can write your own ticket. There aren't a lot of court reporters in Texas. Civilly, a lot of our court reporters are now going to remote court reporting, where they're sitting at home somewhere while they have a computer or recording device actually in the office where a deposition is going on. But for our purposes, from a financial standpoint, I just ballpark estimate the cost to the 3 counties on an annual basis of somewhere between $200,000 and $250,000 for those 2 roles, benefits and supplies and expenses with respect to travel. So it's not it's a meaningful expenditure for the creation of this office. It would be shared proportionally amongst the 3 counties. And you'd be surprised. There are some interesting and unique focal points of criminal prosecutions going on right now with respect to the mess at our border. I'm trying to avoid any sort of like political positioning or anything, but suffice it to say, our sister counties, Live Oak and McMullen County, are burdened much more greatly by the sheer number of cases that are coming before them that deal with illegal immigration and human trafficking and the drug interdiction and so on and so forth. So the proportionality might not actually be as dramatic as we would think it is compared to our population size. P County is about 30,000, Live Oak's what, about 12 to 15,000, and McMullen County is 660 on the census. 660 people. So what I'm asking Commissioners Court to do at this time, and what I've met and spoken with both Judge Huff, Judge-elect James Liska, and Judge Teal, is that we have a go at this process, at setting up a multi-county court at law. What I'm asking you to do today is to consider voting in support of a resolution that we would deliver to our state legislatures, J.M. Lozano and Senator-elect Morgan LaMantia, so that they could start getting legislation drafted and presented and get it in line so that it could actually get passed in this upcoming legislative term. During that period, once we have resolutions approved and they're moving forward, we can start figuring out whether or not there's an opportunity or potentiality that the state of Texas would pick up 100% of this cost. They did for the first multi-county court at law. That's where the concept that maybe we can get them to pay for our guy too, or girl too, came from. And also it'll give us more breathing room and time, and I mean us as B County, but also Live Oak County and McMullen County individually to determine, is it something that is good for our constituents, that makes sense moving forward, that provides efficiencies, that make the expenditure that it would take worthwhile. So it's not the cart before the horse. It's just a multi-pronged approach, and this is the first step. And I'd open the floor to questions at this time.
Judge, do you feel like the other two counties are in favor of moving forward with this?
I do. We're all generally in favor. Judge Teal and Judge-elect Liska and I met last week in Three Rivers, and we sat down. I think they have some good questions, and I think before the meeting, Commissioner DeWitt, I think it was you posed a question about, if we create this, does it automatically strip the constitutional county judges of all of their courtroom time? And the answer is no. The county court at law would take cases as is determined by our local administrative judge. But it would help. So it could. So for instance, in B County, our county court of law could take over all misdemeanor cases. And he could, or she could not take over all the cases in Live Oak County because James Liska may want to be on the bench. But those are, that's probably the primary question that the three county judges, including myself, have right now, is, does it make sense for our particular situation for our constituents?
And for Live Oak and McMullen, it would be a pro rata share on the court reporter and the.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Judge, the reason I asked the question earlier is that, being on the court as many years as Commissioner Hager and I have, we see how much time it takes for whoever the county judge is to hold those trials and everything. It's a huge amount of time. It takes a lot of preparation, a lot of time and everything. That's why I think it'd be good to take some of that burden off the county judge. I really do.
I tend to agree with you, especially B County is kind of unique in that we're close. We're kind of on the cusp. We're always in that uncomfortable, area where we are a rural county, but in many respects we're not quite as rural as some really rural counties, and so there is a greater burden. Our criminal docket is usually is about 100 to 125 cases when I have a docket, both morning and the afternoon. And I've covered for Judge Huff, and that docket was 6 cases. So there is some variance in the burden that we have. I think in B County we could have criminal court once a week, and I think it would provide a meaningful improvement to the time frame of defendants. Because at the end of the day, we have to look at this, I think, from the point of view of what's in the best interest of our constituents. And if I have to appoint an attorney to represent a defendant from a financial standpoint, and it takes 10 hearings for that over the course of a year and a half for that case to be resolved, we're going to be spending more on that appointed attorney. And that defendant is going to not have a resolution to their case for that long period of time. So to the extent that if one of our citizens gets in trouble, if we can shorten the time frame from when they get in trouble to when there's a resolution and they can start moving on with their lives, I think that's a benefit to them.
That's what I was gonna, and I hate to use the word streamline, because you don't want to streamline it in law. I mean, everybody has a fair opportunity to defend themselves, but it would split it to the point where it could move, the dockets can move quicker to resolution, is what we're looking at.
Because of the timeline, the first judge would be appointed, and then they would be run for election?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and there are some, I have some questions about that as well. Not about that process. You're 100% correct. If the position is created, then each of the counties would have to, agree, yeah, on a budget and then fund it. And then we would all have to agree on the initial appointment, which is, would be interesting, to see, you know, as a lawyer, I'll say one of the saddest things is there's a dearth of lawyers that are willing to come be country lawyers. And so be Live Oak and McMullen County, we have attorneys that, we have great attorneys. But certainly this would be something where even somebody could maybe draw somebody in from a different area to come and serve in this capacity. It's a great opportunity as a lawyer that wants to be a judge to be able to serve in a position like this. And so I don't think we'll have a problem finding somebody. I really don't think we'll have a problem with the other two, you know, between the three counties getting an agreement on who we should appoint. But after that, it would be by popular vote.
Would a retired judge qualify for that? For somebody that's already not elected, or?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they would.
Anybody, the only difference between a constitutional county law, county judge and a county court at law judge is a county court at law judge has to be a licensed lawyer, licensed to practice in the state of Texas.
Okay.
Constitutional county judge, you don't have to be a lawyer.
The other question, Judge, is if it all moves forward and then say, 6 months, a year later, that between the three counties are finding out that this isn't working the way we anticipated working, would they be able to get out of that entire agreement?
And I still don't have the answer to that question. It's a very good question. It's one of the ones that both Judge-elect Liska and Judge Teal and I discussed. And I can tell you what my solution is. My solution is to reach out to Jim Allison, who's a Texas Association of Counties legal counsel. He's represented the county. Most recently, he's assisted us with our workout. Hopeful workout. It hasn't been finalized yet with the county jail. But yeah, that's a really good question. Can we choose to not fund the position and therefore it would die on the vine after we've created it? And I'm not 100% sure how that process would work, but I'm almost certain that it can happen.
So at this point now, what do you need here?
At this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution requesting passage of legislation for multi-county court at law of B, Live Oak, and McMullen Counties, Texas, and requesting legislative assistance to have an act relating to the creation of multi-county county court at law of B, Live Oak, and McMullen Counties to be passed by the 88th legislature of the state of Texas.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I've got 2 motions in 1 second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen, and I apologize for my long and rambling discussion. They're just getting longer. I'm gonna try to stop talking. Moving on, agenda number 9, approve the appointment of, thank you. Okay. Moving on, agenda number 9, approve the appointment of board committee members to replace Mike Willow on the following boards and committees. We have 5 on our agenda. Mr. Willow resigned, was it in late November? I think it was late November. In late November to take a position with the state of Texas. He's been a trusted member and partner of our government for a long time. And he's still going to be around, and I think it's a wonderful solution for us, for B County, a wonderful opportunity for B County, but it does leave a void. We have 5 board positions. I'd take them up separately. We just need to get some appointees.
Can I make a statement before we start?
Yeah, absolutely.
If Mr. Willow was on 5 of these, wouldn't it be the natural progression for Mr. Garza to take the same 5?
I want to be appointed to
Okay.
his position on the Coastal Bend Council of Governments.
Okay,
So,
I got you.
and then, but otherwise, yes.
Okay.
In fact, with respect to, just let me read them out real quick. So, A is Coastal Bend Council of Governments, B is the Homeland Security Advisory Council, C is the B County Safety Committee, D is B County Sick Leave Pool Committee, for which, our policy requires that, Mr. Garza, take that over. Congratulations, Mr. Garza. We'll confirm that in just a moment. And E, the B County Policy, Committee. Do I have a motion to appoint Ryan Garza to the boards and committees identified as subparts B through E?
I'll mix it.
I've got a motion. Do I have a second amongst the two? Second, you can take one. Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. With respect to Coastal Bend Council of Governments, I would appreciate being appointed. Anybody? Thank you. I've got a motion and a second from Precinct 1 and Precinct 4. Thank you, gentlemen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I'm really enjoying my activities on the Coastal Bend Council of Governments, and I'm looking forward to continuing to expand our role and our position in that entity. So thank you all for your support.
They will probably need an official letter saying that.
Yes, sir. We'll get that soon. Thank you, Kenny. Moving on, agenda item number 10. Oh, we got a long way to go. Recognize B County for being awarded the certificate of, this is a good one though. Let me read it again. Recognize B County for being awarded the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for its annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended September 30, 2021, received from the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. This is a certificate of achievement that, Ms. Cantu, your office has received how many years?
30 years. This is the 30th year, 2021.
I was thinking it was like 3 or 5 years. So 30 years, you can't never not get this certificate.
Well, there
No.
was a couple of
30
breaks in
years.
there. There was a break or two in there, not while I've been.
It wasn't a continuous 30 years.
It was not a continuous. But it's only been 1 or 2 breaks of the year. And that's what, like I said before, I was in my chair.
Our auditor is the envy of counties in our region and statewide. We are very fortunate. B County is very fortunate to have not only Mrs. Cantu as our auditor, but every single member of her staff. They work tirelessly. They make my job and my office's job so much easier. And for all of us as commissioners and our department heads and other elected officials, when there is a need, Mrs. Cantu's office rises to the challenge, whether it's finding money in our existing budget, figuring out how to best pull from reserves if we have to, preventing us from pulling from reserves 99% of the time.
No.
Grant, you know, a lot of the county, a lot of the opportunities and growth that we have are founded and based on grants. Our auditor's office handles management of those grants. They do a wonderful job. So please, everybody, join me in giving her a nice hearty round of applause. Did you have a speech prepared?
I just want to thank my staff and, of course, all of our county departments that help in this organization of this annual report. It is the bear for our outside auditors and, of course, my office, but it's a group effort for sure. And so I'm very appreciative of the support from my office.
If I could add a
Absolutely.
few words. My previous career, I was with the state of Texas and spent some time in the Austin headquarters. And I know what the auditors and accountants went through in Austin. And they had a huge staff. You do not. And you are ultimately responsible for the entire budget, every single penny, and you do such an excellent job. I marvel at how you do it. She always has a smile, and she'll say, "Now, Commissioner, we really can't do it that way." She keeps us all out of trouble. She keeps us out of jail. She does a great job, and we do
I try.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I try. Thank you, Commissioner.
I want to emphasize, and it's not only April. You walk in that, it's like they're all in the same boat.
Yes.
all rowing in the same direction. And if April's not there, you don't have to wait to find April. Any one of those desks, you ask that question, you're gonna get the same answer. That you're gonna get the same no that you're gonna get from her, or the same yes. You're gonna get the same answer, the
Right,
same
Grace?
reason, and everything.
Grace will keep it.
And Grace,
knows.
I know I don't have any idea how many grants you're handling right now, but I know you need sideboards
lot.
on your desk.
A lot.
To keep the paperwork.
A lot of grants.
But your entire staff, has been a pleasure to work with y'all for the length that you've been in charge. Let's put it that way.
Commissioner, I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
Commissioner.
you. Thank you.
Chief Deputy?
Been here 30 years, been through 3 auditors. I deal with the auditor's office. Best auditor we've had.
I agree. Thank you.
with
Thank you,
Jones.
Chief. Thank you. Thanks,
Y'all
Paul. I
are just getting
appreciate it.
ready for the
Thank you.
next budget.
Hey, butterworth.
I know exactly how it works.
They were like, the answer is still no.
Yeah, it's still no,
I
trust me.
still have a strong no, but I appreciate all those kind words. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Besides recognition, do we take any action, any formal action on this? I don't think so. Okay, thank you, Andy. Anything further? I don't want to cut this off. Okay, moving on, agenda item number 11, approve contract and agreement for detention of juvenile offenders between the Juvenile Board of San Patricio County and B County. If you had a chance to peruse this contract in detail, you will see that the daily rate that is being charged for juvenile detainees has gone up dramatically to $175 a day. I think last year was 40.
I think it's 100.
Right now, 100. Our juvenile probation chief, Charity Franco, I'm sorry, I don't know her title, what her title is with the department, but she's in charge of juvenile probation, explained the fact that their fees did not keep up with the actual cost of housing these juvenile detainees. $175 a day, and the other new additional potential expenses are designed to make that a zero-cost game for juvenile probation. And this was passed by San Patricio County Commissioners Court. This is the rate that is being offered to any county that wants to house juvenile defendants in San Patricio County. If it weren't San Patricio County, I'm not sure what county, B County, would be able to house juvenile defendants. Fortunately for us, over year to year, and Chief Deputy Jones may have this number at the top of his head, but the amount of juvenile detainees that we have is maybe 1 to 2 a month. I think this past year, is that about right? And like maybe 30 or 40 that has spent 1 or 2 nights, probably less than that, 1 or 2 nights at the detention center. I can tell you the detention center, for those that may not be too familiar with it, sort of the whole goal of juvenile probation is when you have a minor that does something that they shouldn't do, the whole goal is to shake them by their shoulders and get them back on the straight and narrow. So the goal is always, if at all possible, to return the child to their parent or guardian. The judges, district judges and county judges can sit and determine that, and I can tell you that it's maybe 50% of the time the child is able to go back to their parents. Sometimes it's a bad environment. You can't return the child to the parent's house because either the parent doesn't want them and won't provide or cannot provide a safe environment for them, or the child is so disruptive that the disruption to the rest of the family makes it a potential risk for safety. And then there's other reasons why we can detain him, but again, most detentions don't exceed 10 days. And so it's unnecessary. It's an unfortunate reality that San Pat has found it necessary to increase the cost, but that's what this contract is about.
Budget-wise, we're okay? This is a big,
It's big,
it's
yeah.
a big change.
we don't know,
We don't
yeah.
have a
We don't have a choice.
No, we don't have a choice, but I mean, we didn't.
We didn't
did not
budget,
forecast.
no, we didn't budget for
Well,
twice what.
Those are one of the things you can't budget. That's an unforeseen.
And we have busted that budget before in past years, and I wanna say this past year, because we did have, several juveniles that were long-term.
Yeah, it can get really expensive, like if there's some mental health issues that come into play or self-harm. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, these are troubled children. They're children, they're not adults. But it is from a financial standpoint.
There'll be a BA there.
Yeah, it can be difficult.
Move to
Or an
approve.
LIT.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to state that this is, although it's $175, to build a facility is much more
Oh, yes, sir.
cost and to staff it and everything else. So, yeah, relatively, this is inexpensive for what needs to be spent for that, to bring them back
Oh,
to
yes, sir.
society.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, agenda item number 12, approve resolution supporting U.S. Post Office in Mineral. Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, sir, and I know we have some folks here from Mineral. Would any of y'all want to take the podium and say a few kind words?
Well, they don't have to be kind.
Yes, they do. When they come from Mineral, they're always kind, so.
Yes, sir, that is true.
Good morning, Your Honor, and Commissioners, I thank you for allowing us to, come forward to state our case this morning. We're here, I represent the community of Mineral. I represent the 60 postal patrons who use the Mineral Post Office. And I also represent Mineral Baptist Church. And I'd like to state that Mineral Baptist Church is committed to continue doing all the things we've been doing in the past. We are committed to providing space, insurance, maintenance, security, telephone, all the things we've been doing, and more if necessary. It's that important to us to maintain that post office in Mineral. Well, thank you for what you're doing today. I especially want to thank Commissioner DeWitt for his guidance and his picking up the ball and helping me with this little skirmish. So thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Massey. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak in support of this position? Commissioner DeWitt, you have the floor.
Judge, if the court will permit, I'd like to read the resolution into the record, sir. Certainly. B County resolution regarding U.S. Post Office in Mineral, Texas. Whereas the B County Commissioners Court represents the citizens of B County, Texas, and whereas there exists a U.S. Post Office in Mineral, Texas, and whereas the U.S. Post Office in Mineral has existed for many decades and serves Mineral and the surrounding community, and whereas the Mineral community is a rural community consisting mainly of retirees, farmers, and ranchers, many of whom, due to fixed incomes, age, and/or medical conditions, cannot travel on a regular daily basis to a larger full-service post office in nearby Beeville, a round-trip distance of over 20 miles, and whereas the Mineral First Baptist Church has provided and continues to provide at no cost to the U.S. Postal Service office and lobby space, utilities, water, sewer, and electricity, maintenance, parking, storage, and a centralized safe location, and whereas the Mineral community desperately needs the convenience and utility provided by the U.S. Postal Service in Mineral for mail and delivery of personal medical supplies, and therefore, be it resolved, following input from residents, elected officials, and concerned countywide citizens, the B County Commissioners Court respectfully request the U.S. Postal Service continue to operate a post office facility in Mineral, Texas, executed if the court approves this 12th day of December 2022, and I will personally hand deliver this to the postmaster in Kennedy. With that, I'll make a motion to approve, sir.
Second.
I have a motion, couple seconds. Hope you're in charge. Figure who won out of the gate. Any further discussion? Can I say this?
Please.
That's not gonna be another 5 minutes.
Another 10.
I'll take the rest of your time.
In a current federal budgetary environment where we continue to expend hundreds of millions or billions and billions of dollars on government programs to improve the lives of, I guess, citizens all over this great nation, we're spending more and more on these government services and subsidies and benefits for individuals. It's disappointing to see actual practical government entities like the U.S. Postal Services. It's not sexy, it's not newsworthy, but for, like in Minerals' case, for decades and decades and decades, the federal government has provided a practical solution and a benefit to our citizens that reside in this area. This is meaningful, and it's valuable to us, and it's something that the federal government should not so wantonly consolidate. Consolidate real solutions for real rural Americans while creating government programs staffed by thousands of employees in larger urban areas around our nation with no regard to the impact and the loss of community and the loss of federal support that our rural communities are facing. If you want to see part of the reason why so many folks in the parts of the country that are overlooked, that aren't on the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean or in the northeast of our wonderful nation, you can just look to something like this as another reason why the federal government doesn't have the support that you would think that it should have when they close down arbitrarily practical solutions for practical constituents. And I'd remind the federal government that in the country, most of our folks vote. That's all I've got. I don't know if that was proper or improper.
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception.
And
Thank y'all for being here.
And we're gonna put it on the fancy paper, and then we'll pass it by for signature.
Sounds good. Candy, you got that? Candy got that. I don't have to put it, I don't even know where the fancy paper is here. Do we have?
Maybe.
Okay.
Not in the budget.
About 15 years ago, I think they bought like 30
Oh, we shared.
30 years of.
We shared, our office shared.
Yeah, okay, we got it, we stored some. Agenda item number 13. What's that? Oh, well, no, I'm gonna, there's something we gotta do. Okay. There's something we gotta do. Agenda item number 13, request for approval of proof of evidence stating a permanent peace officer's license has been issued to Constable Precinct number 3 under Chapter 1701 Occupations Code as per Local Government Code Section 86.0021, qualifications to be tabled during the November 14th, 2022 regular term meeting. For this agenda item, we need the record to reflect that it is our will to refer this to our county attorney, Mike Knight. Correct. And I don't know if that needs to be in the form of a motion. I'd entertain a motion.
I would think so.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Here, I didn't mean to lie, I wasn't like.
No, and I agree with it, honestly.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. I'm sure we'll hear about this again from Mr. Knight, who just could not be present this morning. Agenda item number 14, approve request for the use of Peake County Courthouse for the 2023 swearing-in ceremony on Sunday, January 1, 2023. Commissioner Farias, this is your item. You have the floor, sir.
I just put it on there in case that one of the newly elected officials or yourself or anybody that's gonna come in wanted to use the courthouse. Because I remember we used the front steps over there and it was like blistering
That was
cold.
cold. That was a cold day.
It was a cold day and we couldn't, nobody could come in the courthouse. So this is just thinking ahead of time in case if we wanted to open today for swearing in, or I don't know whether any of the elected officials want to use the courthouse, but it's, I open the door.
As a general rule, yes, we do want to use it. That's been tradition. A few people want to have it at their homes, but most people want to have it here in the courthouse.
Even if we use the rotunda in the bathroom,
At,
just for a short time and advise the.
I think several times, we've used the courtroom
We've used the
myself,
courtroom.
Yeah.
but,
And, do you want
I
to
don't
put,
know when
do
you're.
you want to put a time on this?
Cold.
little humor, if you don't want to stand the cold, you don't need to be in the
I
office.
don't know that we've,
Have we put a time?
I can say that now.
Usually we do it 1 o'clock or something. That way everybody knows what time to be here. But the courthouse can be open, but what time are we gonna do the swearing in?
Are you gonna do this here first, or?
yeah, I'll do it here.
We
What
did
time do
it,
you-
what, we did it at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did it.
we've
at
always
9
done,
in the
What,
morning.
9
we've always done it
o'clock?
early.
I mean, it's fine for me, New Year's Day. Candy's saying no.
No.
Yeah, it's always been early. It's always been at 9 a.m.
No, we can get to
We're
work.
gonna do it 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10
I'd like
a.m.
to make a motion to open the courthouse on January 1 at 10 a.m. for the swearing-in ceremony.
And also to be sure that everybody knows they're invited to the swearing in ceremony.
And our bailiffs are specifically invited to.
Take it easy this New Year's Eve.
That's right. It probably shouldn't take more than 3 or 4 hours. I'll have a couple of speeches prepared.
I think the way it's set up, you'll be swearing most of us in, I saw that.
Yes, sir. Any further discussion? 10 a.m. Sunday, January 1st, 2023.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am?
Just make sure they sign their statement of office before you do the swearing in, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That has to be done first.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Getting got a lot of work here for me. Any further discussion? Good. Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, agenda item number 15, approve master agreement and general terms and conditions between I3 Verticals LLC and B County for the Net Data Applications Annex, I-Ticket Annex, and GHS Collections Annex.
Move to approve, I see the amount is $116,986.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? No discussion, no necessary, okay, good. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Well done. Okay, now, okay, moving on. Agenda item number 16, approve request for additional ARP funding to the Pettus Municipal Utility District, PMUD. I believe we have Mr. Tony Hilburn and Mr. Jesse Hernandez present this morning. Is there a presentation you'd like to make, gentlemen?
Not really, I mean, if you have.
I would recommend y'all come up and tell us what you need. I think you've gotten 3 bids on a couple of items that we may be able to take action on.
And I know I introduced y'all, but if y'all would identify yourselves for the record, I'd appreciate it.
I'm Anthony Hilbert, and I serve on the board of the Pettus MUD.
I'm Jesse Hernandez, I'm operations manager. So, what we have going on here is our aerators right now. Well, actually, we have plenty of problems, but right now we're focusing on the aerator. We have one that's not in existence. We have one that's just kind of torn apart and it's on its last leg. One we did have a fix, and it just after 6 months of, Frankenstein it, it's gone. Without these aerators, our bacteria can't stay alive and we can't keep the environment healthy. So we're kind of in the bind with TCQ, trying to fix these items. We've gotten quotes and other things prepared for you. I don't know if you have them. But these notes that are here, these are the other items that are that we're needing to work on. So as far as that, I don't know what kind of questions.
If we approve this, you can get them, the availability?
Yeah, it's more of a financial hurt for us.
Let me lead the court through this a little bit, and to educate the court this touch, I had a grade B and C water and sewer license with the state, and I'm familiar with some of this. These aerators he talked about, it's kind of like a bubbler in an aquarium, where it bubbles oxygen in the aquarium. These aerators put oxygen into, let's just call this stuff that comes in the sewer plant pookie for last of us, for lack of a better word. Let's call it pookie. It bubbles the air through the pookie, and the bacteria get hungry, and they eat it up. Without the aerators, it goes septic, and it goes bad really, really quick. So how many do you have operational right now?
We have one. All 3 of them need to be operating. The one that we have is on its last leg, and we're running in hand, which means it's on all day long for the last 6 years.
Okay, looking at the bids, and I've gone over the bids and everything, you've got a purchase here for 3 aerators, you got 3 quotes. One of them's for $42,588, then you got $135,899, then $31,786. Now, the one that's, the low bid is $31,786. Is that complete with shafts, rotors, and it's ready to go?
It comes with everything ready to go without, and not including, actually installation.
Okay, because the installation is the next thing.
Right.
So if we were to approve the low bid of $31,786.43, that would get you 3 aerators and it would get you going again.
Right. Yes.
Judge, if we could take this in parts,
Yeah,
I would like to make a motion to approve $31,786.43. The bids have been reviewed by the auditor's office and they look good. And we appreciate you getting them and put that in the out of the ARP money for Pettus.
Yes, sir.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Mr. Hilburn, is that y'all's
Yeah.
request as well? Mr. Hernandez, I interrupted you, I'm sorry, what were you?
No, I was just gonna thank you for the last ARP's, funds you released to help us out with our generator issues, so.
Yes, sir.
Make sure we.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your help.
Yes, sir, Mr. Hilburn, anything we can do to assist you, we will.
Thank you.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception.
Okay, the second item on your bids is to install those aerators.
Right.
Now, looking over those bids, and I've got a problem with one of them, I'll be honest with you, I think it's too low, I don't think they know what they're bidding on, $4,500 won't get it.
No.
The other two, one of them's out of McAllen, the other's out of Karn City. You've got one for $25,000 out of McAllen, you got one for $24,400 out of Karn City, which is right down the road. And I know part of the bids, they have to put new stairs, walkway stabilization, float assemblies, control panels.
Right.
Either one of these two bids, can they do the job and they're gonna get it turnkey and do it for you?
I think, yes.
Okay, I would recommend to the auditor's office, we go with the one out of Karn City. It's $600, less than the one from Brush Country, which is McAllen. It's $24,400. That will get y'all back in operation with these three aerators. That is my motion.
Do they recommend that?
Does that who y'all recommend?
Yes, the closer the better, we can get
Well,
it.
I mean, they're right down the road from you.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, further discussion? I didn't mean to catch on.
No, you're good.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception.
Okay, that gets you your aerators and the installation. And I know you have a long list, but we don't have the bids, and we really can't take an action without the bid. I want to read what y'all's situation is into the record if I could. We've got those two items approved, right, Ed?
Sure.
One item we can't, we've talked about this in our committee, we've talked about every one of these items in our committee meeting, and we're in favor of all of them except one. And you want to do some repairs to your headquarters, a roof and a porch.
Right.
I'll be honest, I drove by the other day, I didn't get out, but it looks like it's pretty good shape. That's probably something we can't fund. I don't think we can justify that as infrastructure. The other items, you got a pump replacement, we've got the aerators you've got the aerators, you've got a lift station problem, you've got a sewer plant drying bed that needs taken care of, you need to demo some concrete digesters and chamber, you've got some water pumps that need done, sewer plants. We agree, all these things need to be done, and we can probably fund them. Get your three bids, just like you did on these two. Get back with Ms. Grace, we'll get you on the agenda and see if we can help you out.
Okay, thank you.
We're here to help, and please reach out to us. I'm your commissioner. Let me know.
Okay.
That's our job. And we have, at this point in time, as the judge said, well, that we have quite a bit of money. That money's not gonna last forever. We've been holding back some of it because we have a building we're building for emergency management, and we just got some new funding, so we'll be able to continue to help y'all, but we need to know what you need, and we need those bids.
Okay,
sir.
Because we have to comply with state rules, and by all means, we have to comply with the auditor's rules. So they supersede everything else we do, so and that's what we need is those bids. So, thank you for being here. Anything else y'all want to tell us?
No, that's suggested.
And hopefully, when do you think they might have those checks?
Well, there's gonna have to be an agreement first.
Okay, just like we did on the last one.
Yes.
Remember how we did the last one? They'll get the agreement, sign the agreement, and we'll fund y'all as quickly as we possibly can. Because you're gonna be out there with a stick paddling that water if this last area goes out.
that would probably be my job.
Oh, boy. Hey, let me ask y'all a question. Have y'all coordinated with any of the other, now I know there's a sewer plant in, Tynan, and there's one in Skidmore. Do they use the same type of aerators? Have you coordinated with them?
We called around, yes, and the aerators are actually out of Germany, they're obsolete.
The ones y'all have?
Right, the ones that we have, so we're having to go with the floaties, and it's, everything actually that we have is obsolete. The financial status was horrible, so we couldn't.
I know, and this is off the record, off the cuff, but I know there's a tendency in those situations, and you're on the board, to not want to raise the rates of your constituents because, you know, they're all fixed income. But what you get into, and this happened in another municipal district in the county, you get along, you're not raising rates, pretty soon your bank account is very low. You have to repair something, you don't have any funds. And sometimes you raise the tariff or raise the rates a little bit as you go along, and it works out better.
Yeah.
So
We've encouraged that and have taken some action for
okay,
that. So.
thank you, because it's a natural thing. I would be in the same shape if I were on the board. No, sir, we don't want to raise your rate because it's going to cost you more money. Well, that's great until we need to do something and we don't have the funds.
Yeah.
but we're here to help you.
Okay, thank you so much.
And if you want me to come down to your meeting sometime, let me know, I'll be there.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Very good.
Thank y'all for being here.
Let me add that, Tynan is another one that has the same basic, well, they have the same problems as far as financials. But some of the stuff I see, like pump work and everything, do y'all have somebody picked out that used to work on them or not? Because I know Tynan does. They send their pumps in and get.
I handle most of our repair and maintenance and, you know, I was a Navy boy, so I do most of our stuff.
Okay.
And it keeps our funds, you know, where we can
Yeah.
actually do.
Some of this looks like just machine work, like your housing is bad, needs to be rebuilt and everything. You might wanna get with them and see who they use.
Right.
I know they're like y'all, their budget is so tight
Mm.
that, and Grace knows, every time you
I
call
call
over there,
it
you don't wanna talk to them because they're broke.
I probably
And
think
they
it's
are.
time maintenance, so, yeah.
Yeah, but, I would reach out to them and to Skidmore.
Okay.
Skidmore's a little more healthier, but still they have problems.
You know, y'all network, like the Commissioner says, that sometimes it helps. I heard also you've been having trouble with a weir problem, and that's where the measurement of the water going out. What,
Right,
that-
so it's a valve issue, it's mounted to the concrete and like I said, part of the sign maintenance. We've had to weld, just kind of retrofit it to make it do its job the way it's supposed to be doing. It's only working to maybe a quarter of its capacity, so we can't go all the way down and up with it.
well, what we did, like I say, we've got a long list of everything that you gave Ms. Grace, and the committee approved those, but even the weird, get those bids into us, and the court will take an appropriate action. I can't speak for the court, but I think we're all, it's infrastructure, and that's part of what the money's for.
Okay, you'll get it done.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your service to the people of Pettus.
You don't mind, can we be excused?
Oh, yeah, of course you can. Anybody that doesn't want to be here, you're welcome to get up and leave at any point. I don't know what it's like. Yeah. Not yet.
I'll let you vote and stuff, I'm out of here.
Moving on, agenda item number 17, approve ARP funding for the County Public Information App from OCV LLC.
Judge, I think this is, something that we've done before, and I think, weren't you able to get a multi-year bid?
Yes, sir.
And is that included in our packet?
I believe it was,
Because it came in on the,
I have copies if you want. I made
There
copies.
we go.
yeah, because it came in the 11th hour. So
Okay.
I
This was
wanted to
different
I
say,
than the
Yes, sir,
$7,000
that's
bill.
what I was thinking, it was a little different.
yes,
But we did get a discount, right?
it went
Yes.
up a little bit, but they planned for any cost that may go up in those 4 years.
See,
And there was a 5% discount that was given, I think it was like $8,500.
and what is the total, do we know?
$85, $45, and 25 cents.
That'll take care of it 4 years.
And-
Well, that's annually.
That's annual.
Okay, 85, 45, 25. Okay, I'll make my motion to reflect that annually. And the beautiful part about this, we're using ARP money, and this 4 years will extend past that money, but let's pay for it now and it's done. That's my motion, Judge, to
Second.
approve.
I have a motion and a second.
And of course, that's for our portion, because the city has a
1/3.
Right.
Any
Are they
further
on board with the 4-year?
We're waiting on their response, but Mr. Benson told me that for sure for this year's funding, it's already budgeted. So they have already put money aside for this year. So I don't know if we're wanting to pay it all at one time. We're gonna have to get with them to see how they wanna pay their portion, or if we're gonna build them, what did we talk about, like
Yearly?
invoicing them?
Annual, yeah.
You know, the thing of it is, they may not realize their ARP money will pay for this too. If ours pay for it, theirs will too. So they may want to relook at that and take a second shot.
I emailed them, asking them for what their guidance was last week. I'm just waiting on the response.
Okay.
Make sure if they don't pay for it, you just take them off.
That's true.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving Moving on, agenda item number 18, approved termination of COVID-19 mitigation coordinator position.
Judge, if you will, Chairman of the ARP committee, we had a meeting and that was brought up in the meeting. We talked about it. The committee feels that we should go ahead and discontinue that position at this point in time and return that money to the ARP pot, if you will, with the caveat that if that, something should rear its head later, we could always bring it back.
Yes,
Or
sir.
something similar.
I feel pretty confident that our emergency management team, as it exists now, can probably handle, unless it's another
Yes.
March 2020
We'll cross it,
situation.
we'll cross that bridge with our sword if it comes.
Is that your motion?
Yes, sir, that's my motion. Discontinue the, position funding and return it to the ARP pot.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, agenda item number 19. Approve the selection of an administrative project delivery service provider to complete application and project implementation for the Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Mitigation, MIT, Method of Distribution, MOD, funding administered by the Texas General Land Office. Mr. Tudia, do you have a,
Yes.
kind of walk us through the recommendation?
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioner. Grace with Grant Administrator. Commissioner Haggard went and requested funds, and we got $4.7 million. With this, I did a RFP, put it in the newspaper. We did scoring, and with the scoring results, GrantWorks was the better with the scoring. GrantWorks received 258, CSRS received 227, and Langford received a score of 213. So I'm requesting to approve GrantWorks as the administrative.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, to approve the passing of a resolution appointing GrantWorks, to serve, to provide administration services for the CDBG MIT MOD, grant program. Any further discussion? Thank you, GrantWorks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Might I just say thank you? Okay, hi, Natalie Gonzalez with GrantWorks. Thank you all so much, Judge and Commissioners Court, Grace and April. We appreciate you guys and look forward to working with you guys on this particular program. I'm actually going to be your grant writer for this, so I will reach out to you and set something up here in the coming days so we can jump on this right away. Okay?
Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for all that you do and
Yes.
benefit and furtherance of our citizens here in the county.
We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yeah, great, Natalie, I want to talk to you personally whenever we get there about the project in Pettus on that flooding.
Okay. not a
That's
problem.
very sensitive there, so we need to talk before we get too far along.
Well, I'll hang out. So
Okay, that'll work.
I'll be here. All right. Thanks.
Mr. Jodia, thank you for everything you do for us as well. Do you have anything further on this?
Number 20.
Next item.
Okay.
Should we vote on that one?
Yes, I'm going to. We have a motion and a second. No further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's getting out of control.
You didn't check it.
All opposed?
Somebody's got somewhere to go.
Motion passes without exception. All right. We're gonna do the rest, the next, no, all at once. No, agenda item number 20, approved selection of an engineering architectural service provider to complete application and project-related engineering architectural services for the CDBG MIT-MOD funding administered by the Texas General Land Office. Mr. Tudia, walk us through this one.
Okay, it's the same process, advertisement, we did the scoring, separate scoring committee, we received 4 bid packets. The scoring was, the following: we received from Hanson, Professional Services, a score of 283, USAT received 270, N. Martinez, Architect 108, and Sam Garcia received a 223. So I'm asking for Hanson Professional Services to be our engineer.
Move to approve.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Further discussion?
I just want to add that I'm well aware of Hanson's work. They're an excellent engineering company. They used to be somebody else, but they've moved on to better, bigger and better things, so they're much better.
Excellent. Before I take a vote, I'd just like to thank the members of the commissioners and employees in B County who formed the committees to review these proposals and grade them. Thank you for your efforts in this regard. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 21, approve design plans and specifications for the B County Courthouse generator under the Federal Emergency Management Agency FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, HMGP, Disaster Recovery, DR, number 4332-0279. Do we have any design?
Whose project is it?
From Mercer.
Oh, good. These are the design plans. These are the ones that have been sitting on my calendar.
We couldn't decide which one of the commissioners had that side of the courthouse.
Who did we decide?
Okay, the ones in the office are actually for, yeah, the EOC.
Oh, you're right, they are.
The
Oh, the EOC, or, no, this is for the generator here.
This one is
This
for
is the generator for the courthouse
Okay,
at Mercer that Lynn Engineering is in charge of.
Yeah.
I think they're.
No, the line is gone.
Oh,
Delegating.
I know where the line is.
Out in precinct two.
I know you reach this far, trust me.
Where?
Don't even come close to the courthouse.
The legal address is just precinct.
3. Okay.
Bring it back, bring it back.
All right, Mr. Mercer, go ahead.
Well played, Mrs.
You're in another building.
Mr. Mercer, you have the floor.
Commissioners, my name is John Mercer. I'm John D. Mercer and Associates. We prepared plans and specifications for the new courthouse generator. I'd like to make one comment before saying anything else. We go to a lot of board meetings and council meetings, et cetera. I know commend you on your professionalism, conducting the meeting with the proper amount of levity. I think that's good. It serves the county well, I think. So, with that said, talked to Gracie this morning. We're looking at advertising this project for bids. We would like to take bids on your second meeting in the month of January. I'd like to go ahead with the motion today of authorizing us to put it in the paper and take the bid the week before that meeting and award on the second meeting in January. And I think the people that need to review the plans, I hope they've seen it. If not, we'll make an appointment to show everybody again what we're doing. Basically, we're putting a new generator outside the air conditioning equipment. We're enclosing the generator with a enclosure fence that looks as much as we can like the fence that's around the air conditioning equipment. We've got a pretty firm approval from the Texas Historical Commission. We sent it to them months ago. Tommy called and said, look, I haven't heard anything from you. He said, well, we can't find it. Can you send it again? It's a typical state, you know, you send stuff to them and they're not working from office, they're working from home, so nobody knows where anything is. So we've got to make another electronic submittal of the plan. But I've got an email in my file that says, look, we don't have any problems with it, except their only comment was, can we make sure that the exhaust is not directed right at the building? And just in case, can we put the carbon monoxide meters in the offices that are right next to the generator? And I don't think that would be a problem. I can take care of the exhaust. If somebody at county maintenance can put a carbon monoxide meter in the I think it's the restroom right there, that's where the generator's going. That was their only comment, and they did a quick turnaround on that. So we're ready to advertise with your approval.
Thank you, Mr. Mercer.
First, I have one question. Is it diesel or natural gas?
Diesel. No, natural gas. We got a gas.
We have a gas meter right here, so it's gonna be natural gas.
Wait a minute, you
Wait
said
a
diesel.
second.
So there's a natural gas meter right there, isn't it?
Yes, but not always is,
Yeah, we talked about that when we.
not always is the gas. You know.
The only reason we look at natural gas is you don't have to worry about the fuel going bad.
Yeah, I understand that.
Lance, David?
Right now, we've got diesel because, I don't know that we have sufficient gas capacity.
I got it. Okay.
And, you know, natural gas systems are low pressure, that you have to maintain a certain pressure.
Right.
For, for the generator, you know, to get the generator to run. So we've gone with diesel right now, because we know we can do that. But without having to go out into the street and replace the gas main all the way in, we'd have to have probably a second meter, maybe because the meter you've got for the building is not big enough for both. We'd have to have a second meter, or we'd have to have a different meter, and then, take it down, and then have a second regulator on the generator itself. So right now, we're going with diesel.
When installed, will the generator power 80%?
Everything in the building, everything in the building.
Okay, 100%. Excellent.
We don't realize how often electricity goes out until you're in the courthouse and nothing works. And, sometimes in the past, it's been 4 or 5 days.
The other thing with natural gas is the price of the generator is about 20%, 25% higher for a natural gas generator. So you don't have the torque, you've got to have a bigger engine for natural gas.
Oh, natural gas.
Natural gas, and we had to go from our meter from ounces to pounds for it to supply to that meter. That was a pretty costly deal there.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to having this installed, because then we won't have any more, half days or free afternoons for courthouse staff when we lose power. And I know our staff is excited about that too, because it'll assist them with maintaining their efficiency rate.
Oh, and the dedication.
Yes, and everything is included because of the clean outs and everything that's there on the side of the building, right? Yeah, there is some clean outs and stuff on the side.
Okay.
We're staying just on the side of those clean outs. We've got a drain off the roof that comes underneath our slab, and we're missing that, so we know where, hopefully we know where everything is.
Well, it'd be easy enough to put that maintenance in the contract with the others that we have. It's not a big deal. I just asked the question. Appreciate it.
Well, normally, your generator is gonna fire up and run for a period of time, at least once a week. So you're gonna be using some of that, diesel. We've got, I think I've got, probably 36 to 48 hours worth of diesel, availability in the tank. So that, but you're right, periodically, if you're not using it up very fast, you've got to keep it conditioned, or you need to go in there and pump it out and replace it once in a while and do something. Yes, you're right. We're maintaining the diesel.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mercer. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you again for your time this morning, your presentation, Mr. Mercer, and your comments.
If I could make just a couple other comments, given a little bit of update on the other two projects we've got for the county. One of them is the EOC. We've got 95% plans about ready to go for that. My intent to have that ready to advertise in January, along with the tax office. By the last meeting in January, we should have that ready to authorize. They had 3 things on that last January meeting, had 3 items on the agenda to get those 2 projects started also.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mercer. Anything further?
I believe that's it.
Thank you. Anything further from Commissioner's Court? That being said, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. There you go, Commissioner Fareed.
Absolutely.
I think at our first January meeting, we'd like maybe an in-depth discussion from you on presentation.
On his review, yes.
And like a PowerPoint.
Including all buildings.
20 slides, not that much. You can work at it over Christmas, New Year's. Sure, Doug. Moving on, agenda item number 22, approve advertisement posting of request for proposals, RFP, for the B County Courthouse generator installation under the FEMA HMGPDR number 4332-0279.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Moving on, agenda item number 23, approve Zimmer Floral and Nursery credit application for B County maintenance.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. What's that? Yeah, to assist with the current efforts in beautifying our courthouse grounds, I must say, and I know y'all have noticed it, and I'm sure many folks in the community have noticed it. Our courthouse grounds are, in really fine form right now, and they're continuing to be improved, and so kudos to the maintenance department.
Really good.
For all of their efforts. No further discussion, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 24, approve auditor's office request to use county credit card for internal audit training lodging reservation on January 24th to the 26th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
They're just coming in slowly. The motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 25, approve equipment lease purchase agreement between Beeville County and Welch Bank for road and bridge and waste management.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I just can't pass it up. Welch Bank is just, that's kind of an interesting name for
It is state approved.
yeah, especially if we're entering into a contractual agreement with a bank that's named Welch.
Right. And we've dealt with them before.
I'm sure they're all wonderful people, and I apologize to the Welch family for making a cheap dig at their last name. All right, moving on. Agenda item number 26, approve request for the Expo Arena for, approve request for use of Expo Arena from the AgriLife Extension Office for the 2022 Be Jolly Prospect Show on December 17th, 2022.
Move to approve. Wally, does this fit in with your schedule? All right?
It sure does, we confirm.
Move to approve.
I have a motion, I have a second. I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, agenda item number 27, and this one I'll make sure we get Wally up here before we take any action on it. Agenda item number 27, approve request for use of Expo Auditorium from the AgriLife Extension Office for the 4-H Christmas Party on December 12th, 2022. Mr. Rodriguez, do you have a date? I know, but there's a lot of those.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Wally Rodriguez, Promotional Director of the County Expo Center. So what we have is a request for the use of the auditorium for the Christmas party. As of this morning, we were a little bit nervous about conflicting issues with the start of our project. With Mr. Domingo, the contractor, I've been able to talk with him and get a resolution in order, so we're good to go. We'll be able to move forward with this event with no issues.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And for the audience, the project is replacing that floor, right?
Is the dance floor?
The dance floor, yes.
Yes, sir. So we've been working really closely with the contractor to get him to, the end goal at the end of the day is let's wrap this project up as soon as possible. We've got events into January that we really want to be prepared for. And so we started with the starting date of the 26th of December for this year. We were able to work with the calendar, get him a week moved up, and then actually an additional week. So he's able to start 2 weeks before we initially thought he would, which is a really good thing. He's asking for 3 to 4 weeks to be able to complete his entire project, and so this just makes it a little bit easier for us on our end in terms of him being able to start and finish the
Ask
project.
a quick question. We are treating for termites before we put the new floor down, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's in the works.
There is additional, yes, so he's got quite a bit of requirements that he had been done in regards to treatment before he started. So today he's doing a lot of assessment, making sure exactly what needed to happen is what happened, and everything is prepared. He's finalizing some lists for materials, things of that sort. So I kind of talked to him about what his day would look like today, what it would pan out to be. And then in talking with him, I was able to find out that we were able to actually go ahead and accommodate AgriLife at the same time.
Move to approve, Judge.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Thank you, Wally. I'm so glad we were able to accommodate AgriLife on this today. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion passes without exception. Moving on, agenda item number 28, approve estimated quote from ServPro for the microbial growth cleaning of the B County Law Enforcement Center as an emergency exemption as per local government code section 262.024 discretionary exemptions. So moved. I have a motion, I have a second. A motion and second. Further discussion?
The amount I'm noticing is $64,083.09.
Yes. And this has to do with, this is ancillary to our jail issue. Humidity issues caused the early onset of some
we weren't
This is-
able to get in, the paperwork before this agenda, so you'll see it.
We'll do it in the first
Mhm.
agenda,
Yes.
January.
Yes.
But this is an emergency exemption so that we can, get started and hopefully, get those humidity issues at our jail, and sheriff's office resolved. Chief Deputy Jones, do you have anything?
One question I had on the bid, it shows commercial repair remedial tax, 4883. That isn't a tax, is it, that we don't have to pay? It's on the last page of the bill, page 28A, page 32 of their bill. It shows line item total, and then it shows commercial repair remedial tax.
It doesn't look like it will,
It's just a question we might ask them.
yes, no, definitely.
Of course, we don't pay tax.
It does, it's there, I'm sorry, just real quick, Chief Deputy, what do you got?
Just to be clear, this is remediation. They have to tear out the wall or the ceiling, they don't replace it. That would be a separate cost.
You know, but this is the route that we have to go. We're
Yeah,
gonna-
we don't have a choice.
Oh, yeah,
We don't have a choice, liability wise for us or for the
Okay,
county.
we're actually,
No,
Yeah.
I'm just, it's just a question.
Yeah. Looks like we're at April, I think.
Oh, yeah.
hopefully we'll move on.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
I know at least one wall, hopefully they'll take the sheet rock to wallpaper, just repaint it. Hopefully there won't be a lot of cost.
As long as you get a professional, we know we don't have liability.
Correct. Anything further? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 29, we are at the end almost. Approved Torque Advantage Dispenser Lease Agreement for the B County Sheriff's Office and Jail Supplies. Chief Deputy Jones, anything?
The contracting, we go through for paper products and, toilet paper, among other things. We were with one contractor, I think, this is a test. If you go with another contractor, seems to be, in the long run, cheaper alternative.
Do we have to go bids on that, or is it y'all just move?
It's within,
What is the
yeah.
cost?
There is no fixed cost, it's
Mhm.
based on usage, right?
We were using coastal paper products or something for what you try to sell.
Move to approve.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll say.
I have a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I'd like to know how that goes for you, maybe something that we want to look at countywide. Thank you. Moving on, agenda item number 30, approved memorandum for law enforcement support office program participating law enforcement agency between the Department of Defense and B County for the Sheriff's Office.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 31, American Rescue Plan ARP status and projects. Commissioner DeWitt, Commissioner Lenny, you have the floor, you may proceed.
Commissioner, do you have anything to say?
Well, Mr. Mercer, he answered any questions I had about the progress of the EOC, where we're at and plans and whatnot, so.
Okay, Grace, do you have anything, ma'am?
No, I just attached the expenditures from since it started, and, what our projects are so far, allocated.
Yeah, just to give everybody an update.
Do we want to go through this update, Jed? We've done this before.
Is there anything meaningful, any new changes from the last?
To be honest, no, sir. The only thing that's meaningful is, what came before us for Pettus. And I've got a list of the things that they've asked, that we take a look at. We have looked at them, and they're gonna go back with the bids, and that's basically where we are. I think, to be honest, the way this is going is benefiting the citizens of B County and the entities in B County very substantially. I'm very pleased with the committee, and I'm extremely pleased with the response from the Commissioners Court on our items. I think that it's all being well used and it's being well received. I know we've helped Tynan, we've helped the Skidmore, MUD, now we're helping Pettus. We've helped the, BDA out there with their sewer plants. And, we've helped the employees,
Fire
Judge-
department?
I'm sorry, the fire department's $240,000 to the fire departments collectively. And, I'm extremely pleased. I'm like the chief deputy, I'm getting positive feedback. I'm not hearing anybody say, well, what about us, or what about this? No, it's all good. So, we're into our second tranche now. We've set aside money to help pay for the EOC. We don't know what those bids are gonna be, Mr. Mercer, but, well, we feel like we've got the money. We feel like we've got it. You know,
Don't hold nothing back.
yeah.
That's
That's
exactly
what you think.
Right before Christmas.
But we as a committee anticipated that, so we have not funded some other things that we might until we know exactly where we are. Yes, sir.
Specifically, talking to other engineers and the projects that we're bidding, that we estimated a year and a half ago, we're seeing prices 140, 150% over our estimates.
Right.
Every other engineer is the same way.
See,
It's full of good
Way to
news.
escape it.
yeah, we've talked about this in committee and also before the court. There's so much money out there. There's so many projects. There's not enough engineers. There's not enough equipment. It's being ordered. We've got things going and it's 6 to 8 to 9 weeks before it comes in, or 60 to 90 days before they even say, well, we're not sure, 360 days. So all we can do is get them in the process and take them as they come and keep smiling. With that, Judge, I'll close the ARP committee notes.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we have no action on agenda item number 31. There are no executive session items on today's agenda. And with some measure of sadness, I call agenda item number 32, adjournment.
I reluctantly want to, make a motion to adjourn this meeting, and thank everybody again for backing me on my 12 years.
Thank you, Commissioner Haggard. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
If we don't second it, we don't have to vote.
I wasn't gonna make the motion, but I was
Yeah,
sure I was gonna hold out for a second.
If you did make the motion, you could vote against.
We haven't,
I still can, so that's not a problem. He could die for lack of second. It's only 11 o'clock.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any other further discussion?
Just Merry Christmas and have safe holidays. Yeah.
And best of luck in the future, sir.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Commissioner Haggard. Thank you,
Don't
gentlemen.
be a stranger. You know, we have these twice a month, and how all these seats are more than welcome to come and sit in. And
I have one of these, I can do like the newspaper now, and sit at home and, in my shorts. I don't have to wear one of these anymore.
Thanks, Commissioner. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.